Hello and happy new year to you all, and welcome to this, our pre-Bett podcast. My goodness, we are very grateful and thank you so much indeed for joining us. In the discussion today, we have Eve Harper. We'll be coming to all of these people in just a moment. She is, of course, the event director of Bett UK. Looking forward to catching up with you, Eve, in just a moment. Katy Pottson also joins us. She's computing an online safety lead for Children's Services and Bett Advisory Board member. I've known Katy for many, many years. Looking forward to finding out what's going on with you. And of course, Kinglsey, CEO of NetSupport and chair of 2 multi-academy trusts. My goodness. And of course, if you don't know me, tut, I am Russell Prue. I'm the host today, and I'm also hosting the radio channel at the Bett Show. I'm really pleased, and it's an honour, and thank you so much indeed. Well, welcome again to this. Eve, if I could start with you as well, can you tell us a little bit more about the theme for this year's Bett, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me, Russell. So the theme for Bett 22, and I guess it's our comeback show, which we're really so excited about, is create the future. I don't need to talk about the disruption of the last 2 years, but I think that has really highlighted the need to think creatively, to solve problems creatively. And it was important for us, for that spirit of creativity, to be at the heart of Bett's return. We also wanted to look beyond the crisis response to what really has been achieved over this time and the positive legacy of the pandemic too. So now more than ever, we had the opportunity to think differently about what the future of teaching and learning can look like. And as I say, create the future of education. So we felt this was a really fitting theme for coming back in January. But across the program itself, I can say a little bit more about that. There are 6 themes that you'll find across the program and really the whole event. And underneath that, create the future banner, and they are really innovation, skills, leadership, inclusion, well-being, and futures. So all of the things that we know are kind of top of mind for educators and institutions at the moment.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm so ready for some face-to-face action, I have to say. I mean, no reflection on your background there at all, but I'm so done with looking into people's houses. Bless them. And it's lovely. It's almost slightly intrusive, but I'm so waiting and looking forward to this year's Bett. It's going to be an amazing experience, and it can't have come too soon, I have to say, Eve. So thanks very much for putting it on. It's an amazing show. Katy, perhaps I could call on you next now. As a Bett Advisory Board member, I need to know more about that, please. Can you tell the listeners and our viewers a little bit more about how you have been shaping the programme at Bett this year?
Oh, yeah, thanks so much. Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm Katy Pottson from Islington Council. Yeah, I sit on a few advisory boards, and I've been so impressed with the Bett Advisory Board. It's a really genuine consultation group. It's got representation from across FE, schools, it's got advisors and consultants, experts in their field, inclusion, subjects, leadership. So a really impressive consultation on that. We've met regularly throughout the past 2 years. As Eve, we had the show last year that didn't happen, but we were meeting around that as well and making decisions. There's really careful reviews of what schools and what organisations in the education world need and what they want. And I work for Islington Council, and I genuinely go back to my schools and back to my earlier settings and secondary and FE. We have FE here as well, and say, what do you want to see and what do you need? So it's really about teacher voice, leadership voice, maths coordinators, Senkos, and pupils. Actually, we also have lots of digital leaders, and we ask. It's a really exciting event for our pupils who attend, and we ask them also what they'd like to see. So yeah, we have working groups and activities specific. So we have task and action groups that we go away and work on. We've created trails that our schools have asked for. They wanted high impact, low cost, for example. They wanted home learning. So the advisory group have worked in task and action groups. That's another example. So I've been really impressed with the genuine consultation from the advisory group. It's been very in depth.
Brilliant. Now, online safety has played such a major role in lots of people's lives in the last 2 years. I mean, you can't have it having escaped that at all. How is online safety being reflected at Bett this year? And is that different in any way?
Is that to me again?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. It's a really important year. Obviously, we've got the online harms bill, which is looking to be released in February, and the UK is leading the way. Really, we've got the Educational World Forum at the event on the Wednesday, where world leaders come together, and be it in person or remotely, the event is still going ahead. And the UK is leading the way in government regulation, with led by cross-party peer Beeb and Kidron. And so I actually there's hoping that we'll actually have Beeb on one of the stages. But yeah, so it's very important, and for schools and for FE settings, online safety, keeping children safe in education. It had another refresh in September. Online safety again raised another year into the significant, the significant part that it plays. So I think all the organisations there's many ed tech organisations, all have online safety first and forefront of what they do. So I think you'll find on all the stands, all the exhibitors talk about online safety, and as well as that, actually in the programme. And in some of the in some of the seminars, we've actually got specialists such as Beeben talking about the online harms bill, and we've got companies, we've got Common Sense Media, we've got the Southwest Grid for Learning, the Safer Internet Centre, really important government-funded Safer Internet Centre, and the Professional Online Helpline. They'll be talking on stands as well. So yeah, absolutely, very significant, very significant.
Brilliant. Pleased to hear that as well. Eve, if I could come back to you, if I may, please. What can visitors expect from the Bett Experience, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So visitors can expect, the things that they have truly come to love from Bett. I think that's, first and foremost. So inspirational content, we really pride ourselves on the amazing people that we work with and we bring to the agenda each year. The leading voices from education across the UK and across the world too. And this year's no exception. So we'll have over 225 speakers on the lineup this year, talking across those themes that I mentioned, and some really strong names there, from the pioneer on growth mindset, Eduardo Briceño, to comics, those who are a fan of Sally Phillips, who will be talking about inclusion and her personal experiences and bringing up a child with STEM, and so many others that are just truly inspirational names. And I think more than ever, we need to be inspired and reminded of what the opportunity that is ahead. Practical CPD, of course, that is always at the heart of Bett, making sure there are sessions that educators can top up their skills. And we'll have our Bett Academy live theatres. We've been running those virtually over the last year to support, whilst we couldn't be there in person, but they'll be live in person at the show. So there's really sort of practical skills-based sessions that people love from Bett. And of course, I couldn't not mention the incredible innovation. So the heart of the show really with the exhibition, and what a year really to be back and for people to be able to come and discover that. So we'll have over 500 companies across Bett this year exhibiting, including 200 brand new companies. So companies that our visitors haven't seen before. And within that, actually also 100 startup organizations. So true innovations and really exciting products and solutions for everyone to discover, to help solve the challenges that they're experiencing today, as well as those that they're preparing for in the future. And of course, networking with peers. There's no, again, we were talking about, there's no replacement to being in person, seeing people and talking in the flesh and solving problems collectively. They're just that opportunity to happen in person, to network with peers, is really, really important for us. So definitely that too. But we've been innovating ourselves, and of course looking to bring some new experiences into Bett, opportunities to kind of explore trends in new ways, to discover new solutions, and of course learn and all things when it comes to ed tech. And you'll see a lot of different features this year. So for the first time, Bett will welcome the world of esports into the event, and we have our esports hub, which will host competitions, sort of tech demos, in-depth sessions that really help educators understand the opportunities of this really fast growing market and how it can be integrated into the curriculum. You'll also see our hosted leaders program, which is a new way for those, specifically those education buyers and leaders who are looking for very specific solutions to connect with solution providers through one-to-one meetings. I mentioned already our Bett Academy Live. We're really excited about that. We've had such great engagement over the past 18 months. Katy mentioned the trails as well, and how the exhibition spans sort of 6 zones and all the solutions you can imagine when it comes to EdTech. But these trails are really reflecting the needs of educators, that right now. So the low cost, high impact trail to really spotlight solutions that have proven efficacy and can be for every school. Same for the Send trail too, and we have others. And we're very excited as well that we're bringing new events to Bett. So alongside Bett this year, visitors will find our dedicated higher education event, which is Ahead by Bett. It's a mouthful when I say it, but it's for higher education leaders accelerating disruption. And we have Learn It too, the Learn It conference, which is our event for global educator change makers. So a huge amount going on, but really the essence of it, the things that people love about Bett, which I hope they'll be excited to experience again in January.
Oh, most definitely, because we almost had 2 years on catch up. There's so much innovation to catch up, and I love going personally to Bett to see the innovation and the new products. It's a highlight, and there's a lot of catching up to do, and I can't wait to get in there as well. Now, Al, if I could come to you, welcome. Thanks very much. Great to see you're in fine form. As part of your enormous commitment to education sector, NetSupport do so many things there. And I hear you've got some really interesting guests lined up for the stand. What can you tell us about them now?
Oh, reveal a few secrets. Always good to talk to you, Russ. Like everybody else, we're really excited about Bett. And I think it was really interesting listening to Katy and Eve in terms of some of the key strands. Many people will know NetSupport, and we've been around 30 years now. And the heart of what we do is classroom instructional tech, online safety and management solutions. And if you think about the challenges that have been identified over the last couple of years and some of the growth areas, we really kind of wanted to resonate with a few vendors that we knew had solutions that would align with some of the key strategies and kind of dovetail with that broader message of what we're trying to do. So we have iAvengers joining us on the stand, and they're all about creating safe use of the web for young learners and digital leaders in schools, very much aligned with our online safety messaging from our own technology. The Association of Network Managers in Education, the beating heart that's been keeping all that technology running, they're going to be on the stand, and that very much aligns with the IT management that we do, but we know that's the building blocks. We've seen absolutely in terms of pushing forward on our students' key skills, writing and literacy. So Pobble are going to be with us on the stand, sharing their resources to inspire and motivate young writers. And we've also got Deliver Computing 360, who specialize in providing solutions to help teach key stage 2, 3, 4 IT and computer science resources. And again, another narrative about developing digital skills for our learners. So they're all very complementary. And I think it's part of that sense as NetSupport that we like to listen, see what the challenges are, and where we are in a position where we can actually support and give a voice, then that's what we try to do. So yeah, alongside the NetSupport crew, there'll be lots of other bits and pieces that we'll be showcasing as part of our presence there.
Brilliant. Now, I hear you're also on the leaders stage, and you're going to be sharing some great practice tips there. What can you tell me about that?
Well, I'm not going to promise to be as exciting as Sally Phillips or as funny as part of my delivery. But yes, I'm very fortunate. I'm going to be talking about, I think, like many of us, lessons learned, how we take forward our broader digital strategy or our digital plans. So really the building blocks. And I think one of the things we've seen over the last couple of years is that in a positive way, we've been empowered to take risks. And by risks, I mean to try new things. And what better place to actually identify technologies that not only people have tried, but that point that Eve alluded to, which is about that efficacy, looking at solutions that have got that kind of evidence behind them in terms of the impact that they'll actually have. So kind of trying to short circuit a little bit, but how do you go about choosing the right solutions and making sure that they're fit for purpose? And I'm also going to be joining on a panel at the Learn It, which Eve also mentioned, again, talking there about sort of moving forward with a digital narrative. And I think that's one of the things that we all talk about, how we're all looking forward to getting back on the show floor, and what better place than at Bett. But I think we can't underestimate, it's not just all the great solutions everyone will see. It's the fact that this is another catalyst to keep the discussion moving forward, so that we don't miss the opportunity to build on some of the lessons learned. So I think that combination of getting a chance to see all those cool tools, but also being in a position to share with others, is what's so really exciting.
Brilliant. Can't wait for that. Thank you so much. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Katy, coming back to you now, as part of the Bett Awards, and you've been spearheading for many, many years, the Kids Judge Bett events, and as a previous winner, a humbled previous winner of that brilliant event, can you just tell us a little bit more, if you're unfamiliar, listeners and viewers, to the Kids Judge Bett? Katy, what is it?
Thanks so much, Russell. So we always engage our children with the Bett Awards, for example. In January for years, we've always the lead teachers and leads in schools have shared the winners and been excited about these and asked children to trial it, etc. And I think it's about 8 or 9 years ago. I think it was a group of genuine digital leaders who said, how do you choose? Who chooses these? And why don't we get a chance? I think it was a school called St. Joseph's up in N19 in Archway. And, why can't we choose these awards? Can we get involved? And again, the show organisers do listen. They were really, really interested in this. So we piloted it on a Saturday, because traditionally we used to have the show on a Saturday. And I think the first show was 7 or 8 years ago. The first Kids Judge Bett was 7 or 8 years ago. And we took children and, importantly, their families, because that's the other key stakeholder. It's not just about school leaders and governors and middle leaders and teachers and Senkos, but it's also around, obviously with the pandemic, the significant role of parents, parental engagement, and the power that the parent can have in terms of their child's, learning. That was the big legacy and the big takeaway that we've definitely held on to. So we had families, children and families, at the show on the Saturday, and it's always been authentic. So we've had teachers there, but definitely in the scoping and the terms and conditions of the Kids Judge Bett has always been, it's been authentic pupil voice. We never ever, as the teacher or as the organizer, preempt or suggest to the children what they should be choosing. On the Wednesday, Thursday, I've always taken feedback from children at the show, because throughout the show, you'll find that many schools do bring groups of children. So we asked them to share on Twitter, or to tell me when I'm at the show on the Wednesday, Thursday, what have they seen? What would they like to be considered as a shortlist? And then this year on the Friday, we've got a final team of 9 schools and their teachers and parents who will be going round for a final judging. And then they're on the main stage, the main arena, at, I think it's 1:45. So please join us. For any schools at the show on the Wednesday, Thursday, please, if you see anything that you would like to be shortlisted, it's hashtag Kids Judge Bett. And the reason I'm not, all for Twitterati, but Twitter's a great way to blog, because it means everyone can see what's happening, and it means I don't have to create a new blog site. So anyone who wants to recommend a stand, it can be anything. It's what children think will make an impact to their learning, or what they've loved at the show. Because actually sometimes these exhibitors put a huge amount of effort into the stands and the activities. There's a lot, for those who have been to the show before, you'll know that a lot of the stands have STEM activities or learning focused events for the children to enjoy at the show. So children sometimes pick that. Sometimes children pick products that they want to have back in their show. They often, we've had some products like this. There was one that was we send them off, we encourage them to go. They all have an area that they've got to explore, and we encourage them to go right to the edge, right to where the grassroots, where the smaller startups will be. And our children often pick those startups. And what's incredible is that now we've taken as a strategy in our schools, we're now working systematically with some of these products that were genuinely chosen by the children. There's one called Doodle Math that we'd never heard before. I think it was a Bristol-based product. Wasn't in London at all, and there was a group of children that chose it, and very small little stand. And I think it's now, you know, they took it to their maths coordinators, proper consultation, and it's now in the majority of our schools. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. And they are, you know, children are the audience. They're the key stakeholder. And don't underestimate, children know, you know, when, if you listen to them, they know what, Stephen Heppel's always been good at this, you know, they're the key people to consult with. They know what helps them learn. Don't underestimate that. And I've definitely seen that with Kids Judge Bett. And we haven't changed the way we manage Kids Judge Bett. We've left it that the children genuinely, authentically choose. You know, so there's no pitching from the big companies. It's not about swag. It's not about what we give them on the day. We actually actively ask that doesn't happen. You know, it's all about the learning. Yeah, so I hope as many of you can be involved. Kids Judge Bett is the hashtag. And thank you to all the schools that are supporting that, and to all the exhibitors, because I've been at the show for so many years. Just cannot tell you how proud I am to work with the Bett Show. And also when we're working particularly on Kids Judge Bett, I have to say that 100% of the exhibitors there are there because they want children to learn and to have a better education, their children and their families. And that really comes through when we do Kids Judge Bett. So thank you to all the exhibitors and for the Bett Show for letting us keep Kids Judge Bett another year.
Oh, brilliant. Well done. No, it's a amazing achievement, Katy, as well. It's really good. And I think it's pupil voice at its very best. And I just love it. Absolutely love it. And people should just pin their ears back and have a listen. Now, Al, I think you've got a question for me.
Well, it seems like a very nice segue, as you alluded to, as a former winner, Russell, of Kids Judge Bett. One thing that we're very proud of is about providing both adult and student voice, that authentic voice of the show. And that's part of the reason and the heart behind NetSupport Radio. I could share a few bits, but why would I share it when I can pass to the man who's the passion and the driver behind it? So could you share a bit about your plans for NetSupport Radio and what we're going to be broadcasting at that?
Oh, bless you, as if I didn't know. Thank you, as unprepared as I am for this question. Thank you so much. Well, as usual, we have a lovely stand, and we're building a very special studio space this year. So we'll have some new equipment that you've not seen before, beautifully tailored and beautifully fitted into the stand. So big thank you to Katy for making all of that possible. Lots of guests already, right the way back from November, I think, when we made the first announcement. People started contacting us. So we have a shed load of guests and speakers who want to get on to the radio channel and have an interview and talk about their experience as well as lots of vox pop from the people that are passing the stand. That's so important to us as well. So just ordinary colleagues and teaching colleagues and visitors to the show will come and just share a few words with us and tell us what they're finding out from the show, what they have learned and what they've seen that's exciting. And it's kind of sharing the very best from the people that are visiting the show. That's probably one of my favourite bits of doing this for the many years that we've done this as well. On the Thursday night, we've got a silent disco with the pink headphones. So come along from 6 o'clock on the Thursday, please, at Bett, and pop some pink headphones on, properly sanitized and nice and safe experience. We'll have a segregated area for you to dance and bop along to a silent. There'll be not a lot of noise associated with that, but you can come and network and have a look at the product and enjoy some great music. Mark Anderson will be mixing on the deck, so we have a live mix there for you as well. I'm really excited for that as well. And we've also got some pupil takeovers scheduled as us, where young people are coming in and taking over the equipment and taking over the show. Where we are live every day during Bett at 3 o'clock, and you can tune in across the planet and you can listen to us on the stand. You can download the app as well, and all the details are on our website and on the stand. So another exciting opportunity, I think, as well. I just love Bett, and it's lovely to come along and be busy and to contribute to the show's success and have something tangible tangible, some evidence of that at the end. And I know lots of people who can't get to the show listen to us live and also download us as a podcast afterwards. So it's really important. I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. And I think we've also got some video cameras on the show floor as well, and we'll be simulcasting some of our shows in video and in audio as well. So thoroughly exciting, and thank you so much indeed to the organisers, and of course you, Al, for making that possible. So I'm absolutely thrilled. It'll be one of my first face-to-face events for nearly 2 years. I just can't wait. I'm so done, folks. What's your background? Looking into people's back. Ooh, so let's get back to some nice face-to-face events. I'm thrilled, and it's going to be a really exciting. This is the year not to miss, folks. You have to come to Bett 2022. You so have to come. It's going to be thrilling. Brilliant. Thanks very much indeed for that opportunity as well. I wonder if I'd just move on with the discussion now and chat now with Al and Eve. And I just wondered there will be some people who can't make it to Bett in person. I wonder what activities you might have planned apart from our contribution to that from the NetSupport stand as well. Let's start with you, Eve. What have you got planned? Virtual activities I'm interested in this year.
Yeah, of course. So I guess the first thing I would say, and really echoing what you said there, Russell, is that that we know more than anyone that, what an enabler technology is. And we've all experienced firsthand, many of us lucky enough to stay connected during the last couple of years and to continue working and learning it for most of us. But as we were saying, when it comes to kind of being inspired to really celebrating success in a real way and collectively solving problems, there really is no replacement being together in person. And Bett will bring the community together in one person under the roof that is the XL in January. But absolutely, we absolutely want to make sure that for those who cannot attend, that they get to experience a bit of Bett. It's not the full experience that you get being in person, but we absolutely want to make it as inclusive as possible. So live during Bett, we will be streaming a selection of content from our arena stage, with some exclusive behind the scenes interviews with those speakers too. Now that will be happening live during Bett Week and fronted by, for those of you who did tune into Bett Fest early this year, Laura McInerney, who will be donning her yellow blazer and doing those backstage interviews from our Bett broadcast house. So yes, you'll be getting a bit of, a front row seat to some of our arena sessions via our Bett broadcast. But there's a whole lot more content and activity that happens across Bett, and we'll be making some of that available later in the year. So those who cannot attend and tune at that time will still be able to benefit from some of that learning. So yeah, there will absolutely be that opportunity, but for the full experience, you absolutely need to be there in person and to experience, importantly, the silent disco that I think sounds excellent on the Thursday evening. So.
I know it's great. It'll be the only activity you won't have to tell us to turn down.
Yeah.
Which is so good, isn't it? Really good. No noise pollution from us as well. I love it. And the pink headphones are just now press play. Just amazing. Just amazing. We're really thrilled at that as well. Al, what else are we doing from the stand?
Well, I have to say, I put a request in this morning about some nice country music for the headphones, so I might be the only person dancing. But no, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I certainly can't say that I'm going to be offering some behind the scenes from the main stage. But one thing that I'm going to be doing, some of it myself and some of it with my partner in crime, Mr. Anderson, is we're going to be working on extending our Check It Out show that we do on a monthly basis online. And we're going to turn ourselves into a bit of roving reporters. So we're going to be going out around Bett, looking at some of the exhibitors and some of the solutions that we see that take our eye, doing a few interviews and sharing those online. Hopefully that might help spark some interest for people coming on the second and third day to come along and make sure they add them to the list of places to visit. And perish the thought, if you can't make the show, at least there's an opportunity post-event to get an idea and a flavour of some of the activities. So we're going to be doing that, and we're also going to be linking up with Visa with some of the activities there to make sure that we really just take every opportunity. And by the sounds of it, just from our conversation today, there's plenty of opportunities to really showcase all the great stuff that's going on. And as part of those, of course, that's a chance to connect up with people who hopefully we can get some advice, best practice, some experiences that we can also share back through to educators. So So yes, I'm not quite sure how we're going to fit it all in. I think we need to put a request in that Bett runs for 3 weeks. But in the meantime, we will do our darndest to get as much of it shared as we can.
I think there's something for everyone there. That's the message I'm hearing as well. Lots going on as well. Now, let's just, we brought Katy back now, and let's just kind of whiz around the table now and ask you for your top tips, please, for visiting. And it's great to go through this again, so we can kind of take it for granted that comfy shoes, and I'll start that one off. So if you're coming, don't forget this is a physical event. There's a lot of walking to be done. There's a lot of ground to cover. So come with comfy shoes. This is your best top tips for visiting. Eve, you go first.
Okay, so my yes, closely followed by comfy shoes. I think my top tip would be really do your research, and I mean Al mentioned it just there. There's a lot going on, and if there's a lot that could be missed if you don't plan your time carefully, and plan certainly who you want to see. So if you've got an objective in mind, do your research beforehand. And that will mean you get to everything you want to when you get on site, and you come away with what you want. So yes, a very practical suggestion from me, but do research before you come.
Brilliant. I couldn't agree more with you as well. Katy, what have you got for us?
Talk to your colleagues, bring the key stakeholders, bring those people that we really need for school improvement, maths, literacy, early years, governors. So come with a friend. Phone a friend, bring a friend, really, really important. Use this, the website is excellent. There are physical maps still, aren't there, Eve, if you want, when you arrive. I bring a packed lunch, but that's me. Bring a packed lunch and water, lots and lots of water. Talk to people when you're there. People are really, really helpful. There are colleagues from the show, there's BISA, there's subject associations, and lots of people enjoy networking. I always meet so many people. Look at the Bett Awards once they're announced on the Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, because there's always some really, really good, there's a lot of integrity goes into the Bett Awards. So yeah, absolutely. The Thursday evening sounds exciting. I know that lots of teachers can't leave their class always if they're in London. But come along to that Thursday evening. I know that lots of my schools are super interested in that. You've still got time to bring children, and parents. Parents are brilliant. Home learning, it's all around. All EdTech now extends to the home. It's not specifically for home learning anymore. If you've got EdTech, then it's going to be used in school and in a flipped or blended manner. So bring parents as well if you can, and bring children. And enjoy it. I think that I completely concur with all my colleagues here today that everyone's desperate to get back and connect, and there's lots of fantastic educationalists at the show. I'm really excited.
Brilliant. And don't forget, viewers and listeners, that the show is open late until 8 p.m. on the Thursday. That's the only day that is open late, folks. And you'll want to make it. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a really good. It'll be kind of a more relaxed atmosphere. I think it'll be really good. And if you can't come along, it's going to be it's the first time ever. Yes. Yeah,
and don't forget the trails. I think because we've put the advisory board, we scoped those really carefully. And I think those trails will be really helpful to lots of visitors. So yeah, don't forget to tap into some of those resources.
Brilliant. There's not much left now, Al, but what have you got? Top tips.
I was going to say, for goodness sake, Eve and Katy have covered all the good ones. One which is a slightly biased one, but a really good one I would recommend is check out the latest edition of our Rise magazine, because we've got a whole Bett feature in there, as well as maps and places to go visit and people to go see, which I think is a really, really good one. And my other tip, which might sound a bit strange, given we've got a lovely big stand with a radio station and all sorts of pals and partners showcasing there, is don't just check out the big stands. There's loads of great vendors in some of the smaller stands. There's lots of innovation in different zones around. So yeah, make sure you use those comfy shoes and the packed lunch you brought with you, so that you can actually get a chance to see all of the aspects going around, even if you've got your shopping list in advance of some of the key ones that you need to look at.
Brilliant.
But most importantly of all, enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. The DLR is really beautiful. When we run the school trips there, we always just get such fantastic feedback just about the location and the actual journey there, because you get to see such a gorgeous area of London. The skyline is so beautiful, and the actual journey from the DLR from Bank, if that's the route that you take, yeah, it's really, really special. our children, our schools really enjoy the trip when they come.
It is good. It's always good to use public transport, but if you can't, if that's not a possibility, there is always plenty of parking on site, folks. I cannot tell you, I have never not been able to find a parking space at Bett. So it is easy peasy. If you do have to come further afield, there is, and there's an airport just on the doorstep should you need to fly in. Terms and conditions apply. Restrictions may be enforced at that time. And just before we close as well, I thought it might be appropriate, as I've mentioned restrictions there as well. Eve, what is the show organisers doing to just reassure visitors and exhibitors this year? Because it's a particularly tricky subject, but that you have put some very, very excellent and appropriate procedures in place. What can you tell us about those?
Yeah, absolutely. And the health and safety and importantly comfort of everyone on site really is our number one priority. So thank you for asking that, Russell. So of course, you can expect our safe and secure measures, which go well beyond our normal sort of health and safety measures, which obviously include cleaning, and masks will be strongly encouraged in January too. We will also be working with the ExCeL. We've taken the decision to do COVID checks on arrival to the venue, just to make sure everyone has that peace of mind arriving on site into Bett, that it's a safe space for everybody. So we've already run several large events across the UK and deployed those measures very successfully. So we just want to reassure everyone that making it safe is our priority, and we are confident we're doing just that. So.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to it as well. It's a great opportunity to get out and have a good old-fashioned chin wag. We've just missed that opportunity. I mean, these kind of virtual events have provided a great opportunity but there's nothing that really, we are social animals, and I have to say I'm so desperately needing to get back and just see and wave and touch and have those kind of things. I've almost forgotten what it's like. I mean, going to have to find some proper clothes, or certainly some trousers, because you just really need to be appropriately dressed, and it's so much easier just to pop in the studio with your pajamas on. It won't be able to do that again at Bett. So note to self, an extra one, remember trousers, which is really good, or bottom clothes, really good. Thank you so much indeed for all our guests here as well. It's going to be a brilliant opportunity. It's one of the biggest shows on the planet for educational ICT and online safety, and there's an awful lot going on this year, and this is one of the shows you won't want to miss. I'd like to thank Eve, I'd like to thank Katy and Al, and of course from me, have a brilliant, enjoyable Bett, and stay tuned to the channel to find out more. Until then, thanks very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.